If you've watched the Diddy documentary, or if you've just been paying attention to what's going on online, then you're probably familiar with this face. This dude right here is one of the escorts Diddy chose to repeatedly have sex with Cassie. Like, there were a few. We know that there was more than 2, but this one right here kept getting the callback. And the question on a lot of people's lips is, why? In order for me to even begin to try and unpack all this, I've got to get psychological on your ass. Okay, so we have to look at this through a narcissistic psychology lens, because this type of behavior, well, it isn't just about sex. It's about ego, control, power, and to some extent comparison, and a bit about self-replication. Let me play this up for you properly. If Diddy's motivations to have this guy feature heavily on his extracurricular roster were narcissistically driven, then the driving force would almost certainly be power and control. For some individuals with narcissistic traits, orchestrating sexual dynamics, deciding who does what, when, where, how, and for how long, reinforces dominance. It's not just about being the curator of the act itself. It's about directing the whole thing. Something that has been pointed out by many and is quite obvious to see, this guy slightly resembles Diddy. And that's probably not a coincidence. Diddy's Choice, his decision to regularly use this guy, could be seen as a psychological extension of self. Basically, that's where the line between me and mine in a person becomes blurred and people become possessions rather than partners. So watching Cassie with someone that looks even a little bit like him could be enough to make him feel as though he's watching himself being desired, but through another body. It's a fantasy, but it's all about big ego performance. This whole thing actually becomes a hybrid of voyeurism and exhibitionism. He watches, which satisfies the voyeur in him, but this guy almost acts as a stand-in, feeding the exhibitionist in him too. So it's possession, performance, it's power, it's arousal, all of that. Then there's the degradation angle. Choosing someone potentially deemed as less attractive. That reinforces the power balance. So in his head, it's probably playing out something like, even someone beneath me can have what's mine because I allow it. The comparison alone becomes his proof of superiority. Add to that humiliation fantasy. That's where arousal is tied in with power balance, degradation, and status play. And here's where it gets darker. It becomes less kink and more control, reinforcing ownership and emotional dominance rather than shared eroticism. Finally, you have emotional surveillance. Now, to a narcissist, this is deeply valuable. It's the monitoring of another's reactions, the tone, their body language, desire, resistance, but it's not about trying to understand them. It's to use as information. It maintains ego stability, keeps the partner predictable, and in turn preserves psychological power. When you piece it all together, the control, the mirroring, the power play, the voyeurism, the humiliation, the emotional monitoring, it's easy to see how it's more than just sexual. It's ego, it's dominance, it's performance of power. So maybe, hypothetically speaking, maybe that's why this guy was a regular go-to. Yep, it's a lot.